Hello.
What is going on, guys? It's Triple G here, back with another Borderlands 3 video, and today we're going to be going through the build I'm using for the Endgame Rush Challenge. Now, the Endgame Rush Challenge is a challenge set up by myself for the community where you need to complete the 2 takedowns on True Takedown, the 6 Proving Grounds, and the 3 Slaughter Shafts in as fast as time as possible. Currently, as we're recording this video, Garwood is leading the way on PC, with only Asher leading the way on console. If you do want to take part in this challenge, please feel free to follow me on Twitter. Links will be in the description below, and submit your time. If you do think you will make the leaderboard, you are going to have to record your run. Otherwise, guys, if you do enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to the channel or join us over on Twitch. We stream 5 times a week. Otherwise, let's get straight into this video. Now, we will be including the save file for this build, so all the god rolls in there, and a quick shout out to Quag, who has provided me with some of the items in this file. So first of all, let's go over the build, and first thing that you will notice is we're not going to be using the purple tree at all. This build is an absolute glass cannon. You're going to go into fight for your life with this build, but you're going to be able to get up very, very quickly. You're going to be able to put out so much damage that even on Guardian True Takedown, you will one-shot most of the enemies. So as you can see from the blue tree, we're going to be going all the way down to pack tactics. Notice for this that we are taking all the pet skills, so that if we do go into fight for your life for whatever reason, sometimes the pet will get us up as well, but most of the time we're going to be able to get ourselves up by just switching to the face puncher. Then onto the orange tree here. Now, we're not going to be firing our weapon whatsoever. The only reason I have taken Leave No Trace is to get down the tree, but we are going to be just stacking all our damage all the way through to Capstone at Megavore. Then in terms of the green tree, we have a little bit of survivability with our health things here, and then we're going to be getting Lick the Wounds for the times when we do go into fight for your life. You are going to get into fight for your life with this build, but it is not necessarily a bad thing. One of the things to note as well is you absolutely have to use the Scorcher here. This is going to buff our elemental damage, and we'll get onto why we need to buff that in a second. So onto the actual weapons themselves. As I said before, we are not going to be using the guns specifically. We're going to be using the fact that the Psycho Stabber has a bonus to 340% melee damage, and we're going to be using the Anointment 300/90 or Action Skill End melee damage. Now, the reason for the 2 is that if you are fighting mobbing enemies or that first section of the boss, you want to be using 300/90. That'll pretty much one-shot everything in the game. And then if they are, for example, you are in the Guardian True Takedown and you're fighting Anathema or Scourge, you want to be flicking to the 300/90 to start with. And then once you've got that first segment down, you want to be switching to the 100% melee damage. I have a face puncher here for when I go into fight for your life, just in case we do and there are no enemies around or our pet has died. Then the critical thing to this build is an action skill start stinger. As you will see from the footage, the second that we proc our action skill racks, we are going to release this stinger, which is a melee nova. Now, the melee nova is buffed from our 340% melee damage and our artifact and our comm, so we're going to be doing a ton of damage. If you just look at the Peregrine comm here, you'll also notice that we have melee and splash damage radius. So it is all about just running into the middle of enemies and firing off your racks. Now, you are going to want to time your racks so that you don't run out of charges. If you do run out of charges, you will be just sat there with nothing to do. So you can switch to your face puncher at that point, but just time them. Every 3 or 4 seconds, you'll get your rack back, and you should never really get into trouble. Then I'm using a Snowdrift static charge here because this was being used for the Endgame Rush speedruns. So you could change whatever prefix you wanted to for this. The Snowdrift just gives me that extra little bit of speed. And again, we're looking for melee damage. We've got action skill cooldown right here to bring our racks back a little bit faster, and area effect damage as well for that splash. Then we have a fish slap here that we will throw periodically, but again, this is just about melee damage. So if we do throw a grenade, we're going to get a ton of damage. One thing to note as well is we are going to be proccing Groundbreaker all the time, which is that extra damage for free. Like I said, guys, I'm going to include the save file in the Discord, but again, huge shout out to Quag that has provided me with some of these absolute perfections of gear. Guys, if you do enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to the channel or join us over on Twitch. We stream 5 times a week, and otherwise, I'll catch you on the flip.